Hey, real estate agents, welcome to Making a Smarter Agent, your program to find out all the tips and trends as told by the great ones in real estate. What's a great one? Someone that's able to make money and still keep their head on straight. Let's face it, this is a tough business. We interview tough people who seem to make it look easy. I look forward to getting your feedback, and if you like the show, please give it 5 stars. If you don't like the show, just ignore it. We just want the 5 stars. And I want to take a minute to thank my sponsors, Rain Nation, that's the Real Estate Information Group Network, which you could find on Facebook. I highly suggest you participate. And Organized New York Palm Beach. You could find them on Instagram at Organized Palm Beach. Let's face it, being neat and organized is a hard thing. Organized Palm Beach makes it look easy.
It seems everything this woman touches seems to turn to gold. Welcome, Rochelle.
Thank you. What a fabulous introduction.
Yeah, I was working on it. So,
good job. So I'm completely honored to be your first guest.
Yes.
Making a Smarter Agent. It's to the total heart and soul of what I believe is probably the most exciting thing about our business is that, you probably heard it said, like there are no new ideas, right? And so figuring out what you want to accomplish and then talking to people who have done that thing or something similar. It's like the number of people who, broke the 5-minute mile after the first guy did it, or the number of people who have summited Everest after, the first Westerner did it.
Tell us about how you got started specifically in real estate. Where are you from? What did you do? And let's hear about that, and then we'll talk about some of your successes.
Okay, so I was born and raised in Southern California. I could remember one summer hanging drywall and learning how to, tape and mud drywall. So I'm a little bit handy by way of background. In terms of professionally, I got my start in the land development side of things. My first, I like to say my first real job, where I was like in an office environment and kind of on track to what I'm doing today is I worked for a civil engineering firm. And I was in the feasibility studies department, and we would do feasibility studies for what are called master plan communities. And this was in the Las Vegas Valley in the 90s when, things were booming. And, we would coordinate like hydrologists and the topographers and the civil studies and, take a look at what sort of a master plan for thousands of acres of like literally just desert.
You built a village.
Literally, these went on to be towns.
Let's bring it forward just a little bit because, again, our audience is largely made up of real estate agents who want to get, how do you make money off of that?
Hey, real estate agents, are you looking to grow your business bigger than you ever imagined? Well, you need Rain Nation. Rain Nation is a think tank comprised of realtors for realtors. It's part group therapy, part coaching, all opportunity. Just go to Rain Nation on Facebook, that's REIGNATION, and sign up there.
Well, okay, so I'll start with that I don't relate to what I do as selling. So
selling, how do you make the phone ring?
Oh, okay, well that's kind of a different question, but I'll answer both.
Yeah.
So how do I make the phone ring? The first thing is I market, I advertise, I put myself out there. And I think a lot of why my phone rings and who is calling me is related to how I'm putting myself out there. So my brand messaging is, and really my ethos in general is very much about how can I add more value to my clients and even to people who aren't my clients, but like they're in my market. It's like, listen, sometimes people call me and say, I just want a second opinion. The truth is I'm not going to hire you. I say, okay, great. No problem. Please consider me a resource for anything Boca Raton. I'm at your service. How can I help?
Can we dig just a little bit deeper into the advertising though? I want to just find out.
Sure. Of course.
So talk to me about where you're advertising, what do you spend, what's going to be the response rate that you're getting, stuff that our people could really take from that.
Yes. Yeah. And you raised a couple of good questions. So once you have the context decided of who are you and like, why do people care, then you do need to broadcast that out. So I don't position myself as someone who's going to sell. I mean, I do. I sell, right? That's really the underpinning of it. But at the end of the day, I'm a trusted advisor. And that context is very important. So when I put out direct mail, anything online, social media, YouTube videos, property tours, anything, it's about really being a resource to them. So to do that, you have to really know your stuff. So please come back to what to do after the phone rings, because I do want to dig down into that. That's very important for any agents who are watching, because that's the whole ball game. You can do a Super Bowl ad and like have 1,000 people call you, but if they call you and you're like, or you don't even answer the phone, you just wasted your money. So in terms of like tactical, I do a robust direct mail campaign to my entire farm.
Which is how many people get that mailing?
So I have a couple of different lists depending on what I'm sending, and I alternate them. So, I mean, I have it planned out for the year. I mean, we budget in advance of the year. We know what the pieces are. We know what the content is. We know what the brand messaging is. So I have a 10,000 list and I have a 1,000 list.
Wow.
And then, yeah. So that's my direct mail program. And I test. I literally, if I go to meet with a seller or a buyer who has called on a mailer, generally for me, direct mail yields more seller traffic than buyer traffic. So I'll specifically ask them, I'm just curious, who referred you to me? How did you hear about us? And then we drill down. Oh, I got a mailer. Oh, really? Which mailer? Okay. And then I figure out which mailer. And then obviously I'm appropriate about it. It's conversational, but I will ask them, like, what specifically about that mailer had you call me? And what I have found is that there are certain mailers that it's like, meh, oh, we just knew, we saw your mailers come. That's one response. There's another response called, oh, I have it right here. And here it is. And then they point to the section and I read this and, and then they walk you on that journey that they as a consumer took to find you. Mm-hmm. That is absolute gold. So at the end of every quarter and at the end of every year, I look at what transactions did I do? Mm-hmm. Where did they come from? I know 100% where every person came from. I track these things. So when I look at it at the end of a quarter and then at the end of the year, what has been productive for me and how productive? What's been my ROI? So if something's really performing, I keep going with it and sometimes double down on the investment. And then something that's totally not performing, it has to justify its existence. So, I don't spend where it's not warranted.
I want to connect with you on social media. Search me out, Edmund Bogen, and afterward, let's connect at Rain Nation. That's REIGNATION. You could find us on Facebook. Rain Nation is part think tank, part group therapy for realtors, all coaching, and it's affordable. Try it at Rain Nation, that's REIGNATION, on Facebook.
Can I ask what your annual ad budget is? I like it.
Total?
Yeah, total. I mean, I think everyone might be curious to see that where the top producers are performing. Again, only if you're comfortable. I don't want to meddle too far in your business affairs, but if you
I can give you like a clear and direct answer for direct mail. I mean, I just reviewed it this morning with my operations manager. I was like, where are we on direct mail? We literally just looked at the spreadsheet. So we're in the low 100,000s on that per year. So that's for direct mail only, local. And then we do from time to time do pop pieces like in other markets. Now, why I say I can't clearly articulate 100% my market budget is because there are some opportunities that I have that are not related to my resale business, specifically the residences at Mandarin Oriental, where there is some cross-pollination there. And so it's not all on my ad budget. So for example, next week, we are going on a 4-city tour and I'm speaking on a couple of panels. We'll be videoing those. And then that's going to be beautiful content that the developer is taking care of for us. And then we'll be pushing it out on social media to promote the Mandarin Oriental project. That'll be on my YouTube channel. That'll be on all my social media. And so there is definitely some value to that. Even though I am, specifically marketing the residences at Mandarin Oriental as that primary focus, it does help with, visibility and
Of course.
visibility, obviously positioning myself as the expert in Boca Raton luxury real estate.
Nothing exists in a vacuum. But let's talk about the good stuff here. Talk about like what's so fun about that.
Oh, good stuff.
About the Mandarin.
The combination of amenities, services, and lifestyle. No one's ever done anything like this. So it's like, it's one thing to have like, oh, it's a beautiful condominium. It's a luxury condominium. Fantastic. Then you have, okay, it's branded residential. So that means we have some sort of an agreement. Sometimes it's just a licensing agreement with, you know, a brand name thing. In Miami, we've seen them with cars, luxury goods. You know, we got Fendi Casa, we have Armani Casa, we have Porsche Tower, and then we have some of the hotel groups, right? We have St. Regis and Ritz-Carlton, Four Seasons. That's all fantastic. But this is completely unique. We have a hotel and residences. They are joined. So it is like two towers with a sky bridge. It is one property with retail on the first floor. If you regularly go to Bal Harbour, then just know that you can stay in Boca and you'll be just fine. But here's the kicker, okay? Here's the whole thing. The Mandarin Oriental Hotel Group is actually managing the hotel and residences. Okay, so as a resident, I'm in a beautiful branded condominium. It's fantastic location, downtown, you know, like urban resort feel, walkable, everything everyone's talking about right now. Plus, I could call up like on my way home from the airport and go, hi there, yes, I'm coming home from the airport. You know, I just flew into Boca Airport and I'm tired. And could you please walk my dog, bring up my dry cleaning, you know, change the linen in my bed, stock my fridge, walk my dog, shine my shoes, and put like a filet mignon and decant some wine, please. Oh, and can you send, you know, the Bentley for me? I'm at the airport. So like it is literally everything you can get in a hotel property, five stars, and you own it, and it's a private residential building. All of that, and it's Boca Raton, Florida. Okay, so 20 years ago, I don't know, the average age must have been, you know, much higher. I joke sometimes, right? You know, in the early 2000s, the average age was like 112 or something like that. Sure. The average age in Boca Raton today, Ed, Mr. Trivia, it is 48 years old. So we are seeing a demographic increasingly young, increasingly affluent, and increasingly excited about experiences.
I want to connect with you on social media. Search me out, Edmund Bogen, and afterward, let's connect at Rain Nation. That's REIGNATION. You could find us on Facebook. Rain Nation is part think tank, part group therapy for realtors, all coaching, and it's affordable. Try it at Rain Nation, that's REIGNATION, on Facebook.
You know, when I went to a presentation that you had at the Mandarin Oriental, they had brought up, you had some statistician or something say that in the next 10 years, Boca is going to be 25% larger and we're aging younger. So if the average age is 48, at that time, the average age will be 51. So that's a very good reason to be excited for, certainly as a working real estate agent here in South Florida. I'd love to do that, but I think that's great. So what's the cost? How much is it to get a place? You know, we got decanting the wine and we got our Bentley and we got all this stuff. This is not like Newark, New Jersey here. This is a very, with all due respect, Newark, New Jersey.
Correct. So and this is only the 7th Mandarin Oriental residences in the world.
In the world. So
okay, and the 3rd in the United States.
Talk price.
And they chose Boca Raton. Like, right, amazing. So to get in, right, so we have various residences. It is unprecedented in terms of pricing. It is unprecedented. It is in terms of the level of luxury. And a 1-bedroom. We do have a couple on offer. I think I have 2 remaining that are under the $2 billion mark. And that would be a 1-bedroom at about 1,485 square feet. Then we have all the way up to the penthouse size, which is around 10,000 square feet. I have penthouses between $10 and $20 million. And I have had a number of people who are combining residences. So I'm working on one right now. It's like 7,500 square feet. They're like, here's how I want to live. I need 5 bedrooms. I need this. I need a theater. And we are in a period of time, you know, because we haven't yet come out, you know, we're doing all the infrastructure in the ground right now on the condominium side. The hotel tower, we're actually up a couple of levels and we're getting excavated and the pilings in on the condo side. So until we're actually substantially up, I can make changes. So I have people going, okay, here's what I want, and making really specific, customized homes.
You live kind of a ritualistic life. You go to bed wicked early. You wake up wicked early. Tell us a little bit about that. What time do you go to sleep at night?
So I try to get into bed as early as possible, and it's not always possible. So for example, yesterday I was in Atlanta all day. I was in like a 13-hour meeting, not exaggerating, like literally in a boardroom with like short little breaks. And we were working on the hotel and residences. So like executives from Mandarin Oriental, executives from Penn, Florida, architects, designers, very exciting. So that was a long, long, long day. And then I got home late yesterday evening. And then, you know, today it's like I try to get myself right back on track. So because there are a lot of events in our business, I can't always get in bed as early as I like. But when everything goes according to plan, which, you know, it's never, but I get up around 4:30 in the morning, sometime between 4:30 and 5. There's some certain things I do in the morning hours. A lot of them are based on The Miracle Morning. If you've read that book, I found that very useful. It's about getting my mind right so that for the rest of the day, I can really just wail and be fully self-expressed and fully out there and fully in it. And so, you know, that's my day. I mean, if you read that book, you'll kind of understand what to do in the morning, but short form is like, you know, spend some time being quiet. I read, I work out, I meditate, I plan my day forward.
But prospecting, do you spend any time calling people, or are you so great that it falls out of the woodwork? Like, talk about it.
You know, so I relate to prospecting in a particular way, and I think that helps me want to do it. So I go back to, I feel like I serve as an advisor. I also just legitimately like fall in love with my clients. Like I'm best friends with so many people I've worked with. So when I'm giving them a call to check in, I actually want to talk to these people. And then sometimes people who I haven't quite warmed up to yet enough, it's like, I want to crack that. I want to figure out what are they really about and what are they really up to. When you can dial into what are their real goals and aspirations, what's really important to them outside of like a home purchase or a home sale, I think it allows you to just serve them at a higher level. And so I do daily prospecting. I have somebody on my team, my operations manager actually, who helps me to track them. So I log all my calls. I log notes on all the calls that I make. And I have a certain number of calls that I know I need to make given my sales goals. So, you know, all these things are formulas. So marketing is just numbers. Prospecting is just numbers. If you know, on average, right, you can take an assumption like, okay, I have to make 40 phone calls to get 10 appointments. And out of those 10 appointments, I'm going to convert one. So you can back into how many phone calls do I need to make every day and every.
Do you track it that way? Are those your numbers? You do.
Those are not my numbers.
What do you? Can you?
Those are basic numbers. So like if you go on a base, but mine's a moving target. Like more often than not, I do not meet my target of number of phone calls. What I do find is that I do tend to meet my revenue targets and my appointments targets. So the good news is, I guess, is that I'm more effective than my assumptions in my pro forma.
I want to connect with you on social media. Search me out, Edmund Bogen, and afterward, let's connect at Rain Nation. That's REIGNATION. You could find us on Facebook. Rain Nation is part think tank, part group therapy for realtors, all coaching, and it's affordable. Try it at Rain Nation, that's REIGNATION, on Facebook.
So that's a good thing. But you know, you can't have any concept of how you will convert until you start to track and measure. And you know, even just from an accountability standpoint, it's a game changer to just track and measure. And you know, they say to be really, really good at something, you have to fall in love with the mundane. You know, I've heard a lot of very, very fit people say like, listen, you know, being like super muscular and fit, it's less about, you know, your ability to do anything other than be okay with the boredom. It's like the boredom of eating really clean, the boredom and monotony of like lifting the weight over and over and over and over. So people who are really exceptional in my estimation at anything, I mean, look at athletes, how many free throw shots, you know, do professional basketball players take? You know, how often do they practice? And if you think about real estate, we tend to sometimes practice on our clients.
I really like that.
Our
so
best
you're saying
idea.
it's the boredom, not the work. It's
your ability to continue to do the work, especially when you're like bored and checked out. Like,
interesting.
That's the work to be done. Whether, you feel like getting up in the morning and working out and eating clean all day, sometimes yes and sometimes no. Part of the secret of like being successful is, first of all, defining what success means for you, and then doing that, and then check again, like, am I happy? Am I fulfilled? Is this what I enjoy? Do I like my life right now? I think it was Steve Jobs who was like, listen, if there are too many days in a row where you wake up and say, like, do I want to do what I'm about to do today? If there are too many days in a row where the answer is no, probably need to reevaluate. That's whether you're in real estate or whatever, not to wax philosophical on you, but
no, I love when
you're philosophical.
I love it when you're philosophical. Well, we are coming upon that time where we need to find out any inspiring words that you want to give our audience, anything that you'd like them to think about, or, actually, let me take it a step further. If you were getting started in the real estate business and you had just a few months to actually make some money, and you really, really wanted to succeed, what advice would you give that new agent?
So it's interesting. I get this question a lot, like a lot. And I even did a keynote address last year at a Tom Ferry conference about like how to break into a market and how to get started from like ground zero. But specifically, you asked, I'm a new agent. I have like, assumably I have like no money and like I just need to make some money, right? Mm-hmm. Or is it like just getting started, or is it more about converting and making money happen?
You know what? I like the money question because it's something everyone. Okay. I need money. I got to pay those bills. I'm getting hungry. Literally, mm-hmm. I need money. Rochelle, go. How do I make money?
So if you're really, really just getting started, and it's like literally like, I need to make money happen like in this week. Like I have no gas in my car. Like if you're in that place, I would say put some feelers out. Find out who you can help to get a rental. Now, rentals, for a lot of agents, it's not like the most glamorous thing. It's not the most fun thing. It's not the highest dollar amount, but it is fast. I actually know an agent who specializes in rentals. It's all he does. And he's like, listen, it fits for me. Like I Craigslist stuff. I put things out. I advertise on social. I offer people. I call them up. You know anybody who needs a place to rent. Fast, quick, like that, right? Now, the next step is like, if I have a little like, okay, I can make money happen in the next 30, 60, 90 days. And I did not do this when I was a young person, by the way. I didn't get it.
You're still young.
I love you. I am still young. I'm totally young. But if I were at a different place in my career, I'll say it that way, because actually it may be someone who's like widowed or divorced or retired, and like they're in this place where it's like they need to re-roll. I would find the most successful agent in your marketplace with whom you actually like agree, like philosophically on like what it's all about. And I would figure out how to work for that person. And it's not something I considered when I started in the business. I was like gung-ho to figure everything out on my own. But I'm now seeing like the power of teams and what's happening in that space. Very, very successful agents. I mean, Darren Tanzi in Miami, for example, huge successful agent, sports and entertainment division, like baller, right? Joined the team, Eklund Gomes. He joined a team when he's already completely established, has his own client list, wildly successful by any measure, and he joins a team. So this notion of like working collaboratively, you can bring more value to your clients and everybody has a bigger win. So if you're just getting started and you can find yourself in that kind of an environment, you're going to learn from the best in the business. So
teams, if I was to join a team, 1 + 1 needs to equal 3. You need to actually make it more.
Yeah. And not all teams are not equal, obviously. Like, do your due diligence and see what feels right for you. But those would be my 2. Make it happen quick, like quicker than if you just went and tried to figure it out.
We will make an episode in the future about teams and about what agents are doing today to form those teams. Rochelle, thank you so much. I could post your contact info, yes?
Please, I'm super Googleable. On social media, I'm at Rochelle.tv, and let's connect.
Thank you, Rochelle, and thank you for listening to Making a Smarter Agent. do me a favor. If you liked Making a Smarter Agent, please go to Apple Podcasts or any of the podcast services you might be listening through and give me 5 stars. If you didn't like it that much, then don't even bother. You don't need to say anything. 5 stars is all that really works. I look forward to seeing you next time. And remember, connect with Rain Nation, that's RAIGNATION, on Facebook. It's part think tank, part group therapy for realtors, all coaching, and it's affordable. Please tune in again next week to listen to another exciting episode of Making a Smarter Agent.